It's 5:45 p.m., which means it's time for BCTV's weekly Media Roundup, 5:45 Live. I'm tonight's host, Roland Boyd, and I'll take you through the next 15 minutes into the regularly scheduled 6 o'clock news with a jam-packed edition of 5:45 Live that looks at just some of the madness that's hit the Brattleboro area this week. We'll start by talking about the bank robbery across the street from us at Brattleboro Savings and Loan. Get you some new, somewhat shocking details in the alleged double homicide in Townshend. And with Thanksgiving coming up, this being our last full show before Thanksgiving, we'll break down all the area happenings around town, but that's just some of what we'll get into. We've got a whole stack more than just our 3-clip template for coming up can really do justice to. So stick with us. We'll do it all in 15 minutes if possible, right here on 5:45 Live. BCTV's Roland Boyden here reporting for 5:45 Live. I'm standing in front of the Brattleboro Savings and Loan at 2:30 p.m. They're closed. That's because, according to official statements released by both the bank and Brat PD, they were robbed at approximately 1 p.m. this afternoon. Now, the single suspect was apprehended just down the road from here, I'm told, by eyewitnesses across the street. With that, welcome back to this November 21st, 2014 edition of 5:45 Live. I'm tonight's host, Roland Boyden. Now, that's footage of yesterday's 5:45 Live coverage of the bank robbery that occurred at roughly 1 p.m. at the Main Street branch of the Brattleboro Savings and Loan, forcing the branch's closure for the rest of the day and prompting this release from BSNL officials. Now, police were able to apprehend the lone suspect as they fled the scene, and authorities believe there were no other parties involved. Now, normally, excitement would peak at a bank robbery in downtown Brattleboro, but with the grim news coming out of Townshend this week with an alleged double homicide, that's the headline that's been dominating the state. As the story of a 62-year-old Townshend resident, Robin O'Neill, hit headlines all around Vermont, as she pled not guilty yesterday in Windham District Court to 2 counts of second-degree murder following her arrest at the scene of 2 gun fatalities in Townshend on Wednesday. Now, according to court documents, police believe an intoxicated O'Neill shot to death her one-time fiancé, Townshend resident Stephen Lott, and his son Jameis in Lott's Townshend residence. With State Police Detective Sergeant Scott Dunlap writing in court documents that, quote, O'Neill told us Lott was on the kitchen floor and Jameis was under the kitchen table, with O'Neill telling officers that, quote, the next thing I remembered was I either picked up a gun or had a gun in my hand. Lott and Jameis were lying on the floor in a lot of blood, dead. And while investigating officials confirmed that the couple did break off their engagement just prior to the shootings occurring, statements made by O'Neill at the time of the arrest, along with visible bruising present on O'Neill's neck and arms at the time of the arrest, could suggest that violence suffered by O'Neill at Lott's hands might be an alternate motive for the crime, with Sergeant Dunlap's affidavit reading, quote, O'Neill made several unsolicited statements to us, including reciting the Catholic prayer, Hail Mary, the Lord's Prayer, and saying, quote, I actually done this just the other night, which I have pictures of them beating the holy crap out of me. And you understand the reason I shot the expletive. Oops, wait a minute, I didn't just say anything. You can see that quote reading out on the screen there. Now, police have found a 9mm semi-automatic, 25 caliber and a 22 caliber revolver at the scene of the crime. Meanwhile, Lott's son Jameis is believed to simply have been on the property to do laundry at the time of the shooting. All right, time to move on in the headlines here. This Monday marked the first meeting back in front of the public for Vernon Select Board Chair Patty O'Donnell after her case, unofficially dubbed obstruction of justice by the Windham County Sheriff's Office, was handed off to the Vermont State Police for further investigation. And while their findings may not have been released officially yet, a group of Vernon residents continue to demand accountability on the part of the board and O'Donnell herself.
We have heard from many people in town that enough is enough. There's a ton of business that needs to get done for this town. I understand that these are trying times, and I know that people are upset by decisions that have been made by this board.
Now, controversy first swirled last month after documents filed by the Windham County Sheriff's Office entitled Obstruction of Justice were obtained by the Reformer, revealing allegations that O'Donnell attempted to intervene in the DUI case of a neighbor, including making threats to pull the plug on the town of Vernon's newly struck agreement with the Sheriff's Office following the disbanding of the town's own police department. Well, O'Donnell continues to assert that the heart of the matter lies in her concerns over what she believes were unjustified actions on the part of the arresting officer after he allegedly drew a gun during the DUI arrest in question. Well, and if our top headlines haven't proved the universe's misalignment here in Brattleboro, we've got a series of follow-up stories here and some images to prove otherwise. A few visually provocative stories from the week, starting with a downtown traffic accident this week, documented by hardworking BCTV volunteer James Bansleben after an area resident struck a traffic pole in downtown Brattleboro. While over in Halifax this week, an overturned cement mixer caught the attention of Reformer photographer Kayla Rice. Well, in other news, one-time police chief and beloved community member Richard Guthrie has passed away this week after suffering a heart attack while being treated for pneumonia. He leaves behind a grateful community, as well documented in yesterday's Howard Weiss Tisman penned Reformer article, as those who worked alongside Guthrie throughout his time in the department came forward to recall his dedication to the community and sense of leadership. Chronicling his rise through the ranks at Bratt PD, his time as chief, his work with the Windham County Sheriff's Office, and much more. Even his time as a Reformer reporter in high school. Now you can catch more from this article by checking out the Reformer website, reformer.com, or picking up a paper, checking out all the quotes from area residents as they remember Richard Guthrie. All right, time to move on in the headlines here. Last night marked the next installment of the Vermont Nuclear Citizen Decommissioning Advisory Panel, known in the group circle as ENDCAP, and with Vermont Yankee announcing some of their layoff strategies this week, along with their continued plans to adopt the NRC-approved method dubbed Safe Store of leaving spent fuel on site in Vernon for as many as 60 years. The panel has found themselves with their hands full when it comes to representing the public's feeling on the future of the plant, its employees, and the multiple tons of radioactive nuclear waste on site as well.
We had a conference call with the state to begin that process. We did not give ourselves a deadline on the back end to complete the negotiations, but my expectation would be that we would be well served trying to negotiate that over the next 12 months.
You can catch that full Vermont ENDCAP meeting from last night along with its two predecessors. They have their own series page at BrattleboroTV.org, where clicking the big green watch button will get you to a landing page for all the series. You can track down these meetings, watch them in their entirety. Thanks to BCTV volunteer M. Richards, who's been working hard to gather these meetings for you and make sure you're getting good audio as well. She's put in some overtime to capture these meetings, so thanks to her for that, and for that clip as well. All right, we're going to move on now in the headlines, and with this being our last full-length show before Thanksgiving, we've got plenty to talk about in the area. We'll start by talking about Project Feed the Thousands as they continue their fall and winter campaign to raise food and funds for the hungry in Brattleboro and the surrounding region as well by attempting to gather 25 tractor-trailer trucks worth of non-perishable food items and $100,000 in cash. Area residents interested in participating in this campaign can mail checks to River Valley Credit Union, Project Feed the Thousands care of River Valley Credit Union, or make PayPal donations directly online at feedthethousands.org. There's also donation boxes at banks, gas stations, and other area establishments, and all places where you can buy food. Supermarkets in the area have donation bins for non-perishable food items as well. So a big push starting early for area food pantries trying to get turkeys and other traditional Thanksgiving course selections into the hands of community members facing financial challenges during the season as well, while others in the community are getting set once again to host a community meal open to the public free of charge at the River Garden on Thanksgiving Day, a tradition that's carried out each year thanks to the hard work of volunteers from all around, a few of whom we get the chance to talk to here in BCTV's third floor studios about the event, what it means to the community, and how you can get involved.
We can't wait to get out there and maybe make your Thanksgiving a little more pleasant. Give me a call, 254-4687. We'll do everything we can to bring you a delicious meal.
A brief look at some of the Thanksgiving Day happenings around, part of our BCTV video calendar, which is all sponsored by the generous contributions to BCTV made each year by the Brattleboro Savings and Loan. All right, time to move on. Just a few things to wrap up on this jam-packed edition of 545 Live, including taking a look at this weekend's weather, courtesy of the hardworking crew at BUHS TV, the high school's morning news advisory broadcast crew. Take it away, guys. What's in store this weekend?
We actually, well, if you got a quick glimpse of that, you could see the temperatures are nice and even, mid-30s all week, but Thanksgiving it'll be kind of nice.
That does it for another edition of 545 Live. Thanks for checking in with us. We'll see you next Friday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on BCTV, Comcast Channel 8. In the meantime, have a safe and happy Thanksgiving holiday out there. We'll see you next week.
That was the bathroom. That's a real story.
She told me it was ice cream. We're skipping weather today. So, thanks. Anyway, the 2000.